Yo, what is going on, everyone in the XRP community? Hope you guys are having yourselves a fantastic day today. And if you guys do not know what we're going to be discussing in the video today, well, you're in for a freaking treat because, guys, more and more xRapid enabled corridors are coming soon, and they are going to be announced, quote, in the short order. Cannot wait to get in the information today. Also, two other very quick reasons why I'm having an amazing day. Just sold the 3,000 literally 30 minutes ago. I'm glad that headache is now off of my shoulders. I basically had to fire sell it for dirt cheap because it wasn't passing smog and the freaking headers weren't even California compliant. So I'm going, you know what, here, super cheap price, just take it. I'm sick of it. So glad the GT's gone. Huge weight off my shoulders. And the next reason why I'm having a freaking fantastic day is I found out today on stream that the man himself, David Schwartz, his official YouTube channel, which he just posted on 3 days ago, is literally actually subscribed to the Alex Cobb channel. And I just thought that was probably the highlight of my day today. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Overall market, not doing too great. Bitcoin Cash, it's getting the good end of the stick here at 11%, but that is simply just because people are liquidating their SV going back to Bitcoin Cash, and really predictable for the market, because before people were in Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, they were in Bitcoin Cash originally because Bitcoin SV is a fork of Bitcoin Cash. So Binance will be delisting it on April 22nd. Other exchanges are already following. So if you are in SV, it is time to get out. So Bitcoin at the very low 5,000s. I really hope it can maintain that, and XRP in the higher 31 range. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. It's from the horse's mouth, confirmed information, no speculation, no riddles, no random YouTuber going over some really sketchy source information. Guys, this is straight from the horse's mouth. Ashish Birla essentially saying, if I was to paraphrase what he said, because the verbiage he used in that sentence, he seemed like he was kind of nervous to even talk about it. So he used some odd verbiage. Like he said, he didn't say they're going to be announced shortly. He said in the short order. And I've literally never heard someone use that kind of verbiage, but hey, you know what? Ashish, he's a freaking very important guy at Ripple. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So I can understand that. So basically, if I was to paraphrase what he just said before I show you guys the video, it's basically xRapid enabled countries, more xRapid enabled countries are going to be announced very soon. That's essentially, or we could say shortly. So, because shortly to Ripple, that could mean, a couple weeks to a month, but shortly for us could mean this week. So I'm going to probably take it the safe way and say in about the next month, we'll probably be hearing about these new corridors. And guys, remember, the Mercury FX CEO just talked about a big xRapid rollout plan. What are we seeing now? Ashish Birla just said that we're going to have multiple xRapid enabled destinations that are going to be going live soon, and they will be announced shortly. So let's go ahead. Let's not hear it from me, though. Let's hear it right from the horse's mouth. Ashish Birla, let's give this video a listen.
So far the positive responses from our customers in those two countries has been overwhelming. But we are, working on the next set of destinations, which we'll be announcing in hopefully short order here. But I know our product teams and marketing and engineering teams are working hard to light up those next set of destinations so that we can provide our customers with increased choice in terms of global expansion.
So there's a
Bam, guys, right there. And when she says when these countries are going to be going live, with on-demand liquidity, that's essentially the nicest way. That's like the least hype way of saying we're going to be using XRP. So, guys, XRP essentially is going to be opened up to more countries. Now, what countries are those going to be? Well, let's talk about a little something else that you guys might not know about. So, it just so happens to be that on the same day where they make it very clear that, new corridors for xRapid are going to be announced soon, there just so happens to be a Ripple Regionals in the United Arab Emirates, and they're giving an update on the regulatory climate in the UAE. And you have Ola Dodin, the CEO and founder of BitOasis, which listed XRP in early 2018. You got Sagar Sarbai right here. This guy drops a lot of good breadcrumbs. If you've been watching my channel for a while, this guy drops a lot of good breadcrumbs. This was the guy that dropped that Ripple was working with 40 to 50 central banks. And then we got Simon O'Brien here, Associate Director of Market Infrastructure and Products. And obviously here they're talking about an update on the regulatory conditions of the country. So it seems like the only reason they would have an update is because they have a new piece of information that's saying, hey, yeah, we actually have the thumbs up to go live in the UAE. That's just my speculation though, but it could be a negative update. You really don't know. But it just so happens to be on the same exact day where Ashish Barilla says they're going live in more XRapid countries and it's going to be announced shortly. They just so happen to be having a Ripple regionals in Dubai. So I think it would maybe be safe to say that the UAE and Saudi Arabia might be our next destination corridors that will be launched on XRapid. I think so. So the UAE, I definitely think, and just the Middle East in general, I definitely think is going to be one of the countries that are going to be announced soon. Because keep in mind, where RippleNet development is the most, where it's thriving the most right now, is the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So honestly, I'm going to give you guys my prediction right now on what I think the corridors are going to be. I think it's going to be 3 new corridors, and I think it's going to be in the Middle East, 1 from the Middle East, 1 from Southeast Asia, and I'm thinking, guys, that we're gonna have the US corridor. I'm telling you that right now. I think we're going to have the US corridor. Ripple is working with a lot of big private institutions that do deal a lot of money in the States. And guys, keep in mind, the SEC just came out with framework yesterday on whether they just came out with their framework determining whether a digital asset is a security or not. Now, in this, in this document, it doesn't say straight up, hey, XRP isn't a security, but if you read by what they're saying and how they were to classify it as a security, I've read through a good portion of this, and what I've been reading is that essentially what the SEC is saying is that the SEC is saying as long as the asset really does have utility in an actual functioning network, and, there isn't like, some minimum buy size to get into the network, and the company's not selling out contracts saying that, hey, we think it's a good investment and you're going to make money on it. Essentially everything they describe in here, it's all pointing towards, yeah, XRP is not a security. For example, here's just one line out of the whole document. The digital asset is offered and purchased in quantities indicative of investment intent instead of quantities indicative of a user network. For example, it is offered and purchased in quantities significantly greater than any likely user would reasonably need, or so small as to make actual use of the asset in the network impractical. So they're saying that, most people or on the network, you don't have to be buying like a huge amount just to hold the currency, that you need to be able to buy fractional amounts so that it actually makes sense for a real network. So again, see here, the key really is the digital asset is offered and purchased in quantities indicative of investment intent instead of quantities indicative of a user of the network. So actually, us who are kind of buying some XRP every 2 weeks now and then, we're users of the network. We're participating. We're going in. We're holding some of the asset. We're moving the asset around to different platforms. We're actually really using the network at the end of the day. It's not just an investment opportunity. It's an investment opportunity if you perceive it as one, as well as it is a functioning network that's actually deploying in a couple corridors pretty soon that we're going to have an announcement on. So really, I think, guys, if we can get the US to be one of these new XRapid enabled corridors, because guys, do you think the government would really come out and just flat out say, no, XRP is not a security? No, they're going to release framework, and then you compare that asset to the framework, and then the regulators are going to choose whether or not that is a security. So behind the scenes, Ripple could have already met with the government and with the SEC, CFTC, and the White House administration. They've already met with the White House administration, but they could have recently, met with them and actually discussed this and made sure it was a good, it's actually viable for them to deploy XRP enabled payments into the US. Because guys, there are a lot of clients in the US who are working with Ripple, and there's no doubt that the US would be one of the biggest areas to actually have XRP live. And now, I'm not going to get my hopes up, too high. I'm not really expecting the US to be to be one of the next XRapid enabled corridors. Excuse me. But I do think that there is a slight chance, considering the fact that the SEC did just release digital asset governance framework. So if you put two and two together, how she's just announced this today, how Ripple just happens to be having UAE Ripple regionals, and the SEC just yesterday did release digital asset framework, whether or not determining it is a security. So guys, what we do know is that one, David Schwartz is subscribed to Dallas Cobb channel, but again, what we do really know, guys, is that we got a next group of corridors that are going to be live on XRP, and all we really got to do is wait for that. But in the meantime, we might as well have a little fun and speculation and really, you know, put in our predictions of what we think these new corridors are going to be. Because don't get me wrong, I love doing predictions, but when it comes to price, it's a real gray area, because you could say $1, you could say $1,000, and people are always going to agree and disagree with you. So honestly, my predictions for the next corridor, or the next corridors I would like to see, is the UAE, Japan, and the US. Because you know what? We're getting a lot of development in the Middle East. No doubt that's going to be XRapid enabled. We're getting a lot of development in Southeast Asia. 61 banks in Japan alone are part of the Ripple consortium, just in Japan. So we got 61 banks there, which account for 80% of the banking assets. So we got Southeast Asia. That's for sure. That the regulatory clarity in the UAE, and by the way, XRP actually does comply with Sharia law. Believe it or not. To their standards, XRP does comply as a currency with Sharia law. So that's actually really good there. So in the Middle East, no doubt the XRP enablization, that is no doubt going to happen in the Middle East somewhere. And no doubt going to happen in Southeast Asia somewhere. I'm preferring more of Japan and UAE when it comes to those two regions. But guys, the US, if the US becomes XRapid enabled, I'm going to tell you guys something. You're going to see the price explode of the likes we have never seen in the past. Because yeah, we know XRP is being used, but it's not being used by anyone significant. And do you know where there are significant users? The Middle East, Southeast Asia, and the US all have big Ripple clients in those countries and would definitely benefit from on-demand liquidity. So guys, we know for sure, it's confirmed. We should be expecting an announcement anytime in the next couple weeks of some new corridors. Cannot wait to see it with you guys, and I'm honestly excited to see what these corridors are going to be. I'm really curious. Are there going to be smaller, less liquid, less popular corridors, less exciting corridors, or are these next corridors going to be some real serious hard hitters? Guys, we could see some exciting information in the next month. I tell you what, because I am really stoked to see what these corridors might be, and hopefully, I'm really hoping for either the US or Japan becoming XRapid enabled next. So, guys, we know the XRapid rollout plan, it's taken in place. We already knew it was happening before, when, you know, most of the XRP community knew it was happening because of, you know, Ashish Brilla's statement. But guys, we knew this freaking at the very first Ripple regionals with Mercury FX CEO that there's a big XRapid rollout plan going on here. So guys, would really love to see either US or Japan, because that would honestly be quite simply amazing. But nonetheless, guys, we're getting more corridors. Ripple is getting XRP enabled into more countries. So honestly, the progress I am very happy with. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in the channel today. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, check the links in the description if you do want to support the channel. Get yourself a Ledger Nano S. Get that crypto offline and safe. Do not leave it offline. I mean, do not leave it online. I repeat, do not leave it online. Please get it offline. Was just on the phone with someone recently who got hacked. I'm telling you, best way to go is offline. So guys, we got more XRP enabled corridors coming out very soon, and guys, I am very excited to see what those are, and also looking to the Q1 report coming out next week. And I gotta say, I do agree with Brad Kimes that I think the last 2 quarters of this year are going to be very interesting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in the video today. I'll see you guys in the next one.